All right, dude. Boone, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming on. I have a very good buddy of mine that speaks very highly of you, and he was like, "Dude, you got to get this guy on." And I met your sister a while back at a networking event, and she was a riot. Spoke very highly of you as well, and so yeah, you've suffered a pretty traumatic injury which left you paralyzed,
Yep.
and you were a young kid, and so I feel I'm not speaking for you, but you've had some hurdles and some pretty dark times, especially as an athlete and a teenager,
Mm-hmm.
and to have your whole entire world flipped upside down. And I feel there's a lot of people in this world and country that have gone through some pretty hard times. And I see you in the gym, and you're always after it, and you're always got a smile on your face. And I felt like this could be an awesome conversation. So
Yeah.
here we are.
Yeah.
And I thank you for coming on and willing to tell what you've been through and
Absolutely.
recovery and everything. A little bit about us, real quick, before we get started, is I give veterans and law enforcement companies a chance to send us stuff, and we give it to guests. So I don't know if you're into cigars or not, but we got the War Machine. He was a combat Marine, got out, became a cop, got shot in the line of duty. And then we got Sea State Coffee, which is a recon Marine. He's a here local guy, really good buddy of mine. So he's been on the show. So yeah, we give everybody an opportunity. We give law enforcement, military guys, send us apparel, whatever it is, and we hand it out to guests just to be able to help them promote them for
Oh,
free and
sweet.
yeah, and have a good time with it. So
Love it.
Boone,
Yes, sir.
let's do this. Where you from, man?
We're Boone, Idaho.
Kuna, Idaho.
Born and raised. Yep.
Yeah, what's that like?
It's been wild watching the past 20 years. It's not anything what it was like when when I was little. It's
I could imagine.
crazy. Yeah. No, it's been just insane watching the growth out there. It was a little old, probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 thousand person town when I was a kid. Now it's 20 plus, and
Nope.
houses going up in every field you can imagine, and it's I don't know
Yeah,
how I feel about it. It's not
I
not
can
the worst,
imagine,
but
man.
not the best.
We moved here almost 10 years ago, and we didn't know.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like, hey, let's go to Idaho. I had a job
Right.
opportunity,
Yeah.
and the boss called me. He was like, hey, I need you to go run a project in Idaho, and we're like, cool, let's go. And then we moved here, and it was like Californians, and they're ruining everything. We're like, what the hell's going on here? And then it was like, yeah, fuck these Californians, even though that's where I came from. I was stationed in Camp Pendleton, so I'm not from California, but yeah, and just the amount of time we've been here,
Yeah.
we were at that point. We're like, okay, this isn't. It's not how it was when we
Yeah.
moved here. It's like like you said, every field has a for sale sign in it now,
Yeah.
and it's sad to see.
It is
you know, it's
Well, it is, it's just tough. It's hard. I mean, the farmers, they're getting offered money they can't refuse. They're never gonna make that much money on their property, so can't blame them. You wish there's something you could do to just, I don't know, help them out, or everybody just buy the land and let it sit. But it's, I don't know, it's good and bad. More business. Everybody's doing better. Economy's going pretty good here, but
but
just one of those things you'd like to
it's
see your
not the same.
little hometown stay small, but that's far gone. So you just gotta just take it for what it is now.
Yeah. Oh, it's tough, man. I get it. I'm lucky. I'm fortunate. Like my hometown, it hasn't hardly changed at all yet. But yeah, I get it, and it's a pride thing. Like even though we're not Idahoans,
Yeah.
you're still like when you see a California license plate, you're like, motherfucker. Like,
Yeah.
So, but it is what it is. It sucks, but it's nothing we can do about it
Yeah.
except for accept it and try to capitalize off whatever you can while the growth is here.
Sure.
So,
Exactly. Yeah.
well, dude, what was it? What were you into? What was life like as a kid here?
Life was, for me, just everything athletics, dude. And I was just, I mean, I hate talking about this because I just sound like a cocky little son of a bitch, but I was very good at everything, dude. Like I did everything growing up. My parents met at Boise State on the rodeo team back when they had
Okay.
one. And so my sister, from the time before she could walk, she was doing all the rodeo stuff, and I phased into that later in life, but
Mm-hmm.
I was big on baseball when I was younger. Basketball, football, skateboarding. I was a big skateboarder. Snowboarding, motocross, like anything you could like think of wanting to do as a kid, I did it and had a blast. Like
Yeah.
just took every opportunity I could. Had great parents that allowed me to try all those different things, and just whatever I said I wanted. I mean, my parents at one point in my life before I started rodeoing, because they got 5 acres and an arena, and so like they'd always be roping and doing all that with my sister. And I was like, I made one comment one time. I was like, well, it's just a bummer. You guys always go out and rope every night, and like I'm just hanging out. Like I don't do that. And so they like 2 weeks later, a half pipe came driving down our driveway, like huge, like 25 feet tall, half pipe. Put it right next to the arena, and I was like, "What?" So yeah, I had a half pipe at my house. Like it was just crazy. But
your sister, when I had a conversation with her, she spoke very highly of your parents as well. Like she said, if I remember correctly, it's been a little bit now, but she just said, "You guys grew up with the greatest parents."
Yeah,
how was that? Well, I mean, what separate? I mean, to speak, as a father, like I hope one day my kids speak of me how your sister did. I mean. They were just so supportive, or what?
Yeah. Well, and it's one of those things you don't really realize it in the moment. It's been the grow up a little bit, look back, and go, "Holy cow!" Like these guys these are it. They're them. Like my dad. I mean, my mom. She's just trooper. She's glue of the family. Like never stops tinkering, doing things that we all need done. Just backbone. Just keep the Bartlome boat afloat. Is what I say. Like she's doing everything for us. And then my dad. For me personally, like he coached a lot of my youth sports, baseball teams, all-star teams in the summer, football, and he's an accountant. Like he's a CPA and for a pretty big firm here in Boise, and he's a partner there. And like it didn't matter growing up. Like I mean, he's just this like 2 years ago, he finally capped himself during the busy season at 100 hours a week. He's like, all right, yep, I decided I'm gonna cut it at 100 hours a week. And we're like, ooh, good job, Dad. Like, wow. But like, and then back when I was playing sports, we didn't realize how big of a bad timing that was for our sports. Like baseball in the spring was usually right during the tax season, and as we've grown up, we've realized that for him, there's never really not a tax season. But he still just made time, man. Like.
Good.
Found a way to be there every day, showed up every day, coach our sports. Like
it makes a huge difference as a kid to have the support. And I grew up. My dad worked out of town when we were younger during our football seasons, and he would drive all night. And he would make those games. He never missed a game, and he swore he would never. And so it was cool. I didn't appreciate it.
Yeah.
I didn't know. The sacrifices he was making then to just watch his boys step on the field and play. So it's But as like you said, you get older, you're like, damn, okay, like
my dad. Both my parents. They both came from just not a lot. And just kind of built their empire together. And my dad just made a really good career choice early on, and he's been super successful. So from the support side, sports and just being there. Awesome, fantastic. And then as we've got older, we've realized the financial side of I want to try motorcycle riding. Next thing I know, I got a dirt bike in the driveway. Like that kind of stuff that you don't realize, that you're like, that costs money, man. So they've just been super supportive of all of me and my sister's antics over the years. Like just whatever we got going on, they've just been full board with us and let us kind of just spread our wings, see what we like to do, see what direction we want to go, and just been supportive about all of it. Like anything, like it's just crazy. Yeah. Like, I mean, skateboarding, they would have never thought they'd never seen themselves in that world, but that was a huge, like skateboarding and snowboarding, like that was a huge part of my life for like 6 years. And they were just like, sure, yeah, go for it. And then I started rodeoing, and then it was like, boom, got my horses that I need, like just pivot, and I don't know. They've just always been there. Every stride I take, they're right there with me.
Good for them, man. Yeah. Good for them. And to be able to build an empire together, like you said, coming from nothing to being able to do that, I bet you that was so rewarding for them as well to be able to build what they built, to be able to provide you guys with endless opportunities as kids. And I mean, that's absolutely
that's my dream, right?
Exactly. I feel like it's every parent's dream to be able to
leave their kids better off, yeah, for sure.
We'll show them. So what was your favorite sport out of everything that you did as a wild, crazy kid? What if you could pick one?
Well, this is tough because I would say baseball up until like 8th grade.
Okay.
And then I started rodeoing, in the first year I started rodeo, and I made it to nationals and was top 20 in the team roping, and then
Really?
I was hooked on the rodeo.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an expensive sport.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
adds up really
Yeah.
quick.
Not cheap. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So let's talk injury.
Yep.
Walk me through the day that you were paralyzed.
Yeah. This is very weird. Like that. I'm a big believer now of just like when things are meant to happen, like when it's your time, it's just your time. There's no getting around it. Because I remember that night. So football, first first game of the state playoffs for us, and this is the first year I'd played football in like 3-4 years probably.
Oh, okay.
I mean, CUNA High wasn't very good.
Yeah.
And then we got a coach, Lee Leslie, that he's like just a wizard of turning high school programs into winning programs. I don't know how he does it. Love the guy. But so he came in the year before and then got CUNA their first winning season in who knows how long. And then all my buddies started pitching to him that I needed to play, and so he started working on me, and I was like, all right, yeah, I'll play.
Yeah.
And so went out, but yeah, so that day was just, normal gig, but I remember the weather was supposed to be like terrible. Like it was supposed to be rainy, windy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know, it was weird. Me and my dad had the camper because we were the second after the game ended, me and him were headed to the mountains to do some elk hunting. like just normal night, but I remember when I got to the field, I was like ready for the weather to just be crap, and I just remember it was like one of the most peaceful nights I've ever experienced. Like, I don't know, everything felt super calm. Like going through warm-ups, I felt something different. Like there was just a calm in the air. Like I don't even know how to explain it. Like I just felt super, it was a state playoff game, like first time in who knows how long for CUNA. Like think the nerves would be there, but I remember just feeling so peaceful. It's just like, man, this is just looking around, taking it all in. Beautiful night, like all the boys around you. You're just super, super serene. Like it was just wild.
Yeah.
And then, so then I don't know, game starts, everything's normal. I was wide receiver, and I was just going in to make a block on a guy, and I tripped up. That is funny because I tell everybody, I'm this big athlete. Oh, I'm so athletic. And then I made the most unathletic move of my life. Just ran in there, tripped on the guy. And then as I was falling forward, our running back came around the corner, and I just caught my chin on his knee as I was falling forward and just snapped my neck back and lost all the feeling in my body before I hit the ground.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you know immediately something was wrong?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was weird because, once again, right here, from here down, didn't have any function or feeling. I never felt myself hit the ground. Like, I felt like I was just floating on a cloud because I had, all my feeling was gone. So I never felt the thud of the ground. I never,
Really?
It didn't hurt because I lost all the feeling in my body, so nothing hurt. But I was laying on the ground, and I tried to get up, and just nothing happened. And, lucky for me, my level of injury, a lot of people lose their ability to breathe. Like, whatever your diaphragm's controlling, they lose it. So they'll just black out, they're not breathing.
Are you face down or face up?
I'm just piled up on my side, just kind of head and, turned sideways. But all I could see was the ref, and I was just laying there, and I tried, and my diaphragm was impacted quite a bit. I have it's just not all there. But so I remembered trying to yell at the ref, help. And I just mustered up everything I had, and it was help me. Just
Really?
quiet, dude. It was wild. And then tried to get up again, nothing happened. And then it was just game on from there with the athletic trainer. We had a great athletic trainer in CUNA. He knew right away. Kip, he was all over it. He ran out there, stabilized my neck, he was locked in. I thought I was on the field for 5 minutes, and I've never experienced a broken anything. I broke my hand roping one time, but that was the worst injury that I'd ever had up until this point. So I wasn't used to all that. And yeah, I thought I was out there for 5 minutes, and there, all my friends were no, it was 45, man. I was really? Because it just went by so fast for me. But Kip was there locked in on my neck the whole time, got me over to the hospital, and started surgeries.
What's going through your mind? You're laying there on the field, can't feel, can't move, anything. Do you remember what you were thinking? Is it terrifying, or are you just
just
questioning.
I had no I didn't even know what to think, like I remember just feeling just not even confused. I think I was just in shock, like I didn't even know how to feel because I just didn't understand what was happening. I didn't, it's just things were frantic, and I was just a goofball. I mean, what I remember the most from that night is I got to the hospital and I'm on the stretcher going through the hospital and I'm looking at the lights above me and I just went, man, this is just like the movies, like when the camera's laying down and you're just going by. It's like,
Yeah.
it's just like the movies. It's crazy. Like, but it took me like weeks before I really grasped the situation, like of what was going on. Like I mean, things were just happening so fast, and I don't know, like it didn't hit me for a while as
Really?
to how different my life was about to be. Yeah.
So you get to the hospital, and they're gonna start doing surgeries on you. What are they trying to do at this point?
So luckily one of the neurosurgeons for St. Al's was at the game. He
Really?
called the guy that was on call, said, you need to get to the hospital and get things ready.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I went in and then, I don't know, it was like 5-6 hour surgery on my neck. They went in through the front. I mean, I shattered my C4 vertebrae. So I've got a big plate in there, basically as a replacement vertebrae screwed into my C5 and C5 and C3, just big old chunk of metal in there now. So yeah, they just went in there, did that, and got me fixed up pretty quick.
So you get out of recovery. How long were you in the hospital for?
Well, so I was 3 weeks in Boise.
Okay.
And then they sent me to a hospital in Colorado called Craig Hospital. All they do is spinal cord injuries and brain injuries. So I went there, and I was there 3 months, like physical therapy, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Is that when everything started to sink in, or have you processed it prior to that?
It was like I was still in Boise. But actually, no, I was probably, because I just had so many friends. Like the hospital was here in Boise was like overflowing with people. like I was a pretty social butterfly guy. Like I'd talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Like just had a ton of friends. Lived here my whole life, so I had a big support system. And then just so many different aspects, like I said, of different people. I was a skater. Well, the skaters don't tend to hang out with the rodeo guys. The rodeo guys don't tend to hang out with the basketball players. But I was in all those groups, so I just had a massive amount of people at the hospital just supporting me. So like throughout the day, I was just occupied, mind occupied, kind of just talking to my buddies and stuff. But then when I got to Denver, and it was by my parents were with me, and my dad, like back to my dad being just a solid rock, both my parents. But my dad didn't leave my side for, like, he wasn't in the same room as me for probably a month and a half straight. Like he was he was working, like it was crazy, man. Like
really,
yeah, guys.
So that helps a lot.
Stud.
Helps a lot.
Yeah, he was just by my side. Then got to Craig, and that's when it kind of hit me. Like once I had time nobody was around. Like it was just me now. I'm in this hospital room, like, and I'm like, oh shit, like we're in bad shape, man. Life's this is different. This is kind of seeing like where I was. There's just other spinal cord injury people around me now. I'm like looking at them, and I'm like, holy shit, that's me. Like it was kind of like one of those things, like you don't. Like, I'm not looking at myself almost, so I'm like, I don't even know it's bad. Yeah. And then I see somebody else walk by that's quadriplegic, and I'm like, oh, shit, that's me. That's what I am now.
So when did they tell you that, I mean, because obviously you're neck down paralyzed.
Neck down. Yeah.
When did they tell you that you were going to be like a quadriplegic or?
Right off the rip, man. The doctors.
Really?
I love the doctors in Boise. Like, they did the best thing for me, and they told me, because there's 2 types of spinal cord injuries, an incomplete and a complete. So, like, complete would be like severed your spinal cord, you're done. Like, you're no chance of recovery, really. And then an incomplete, which is, I don't know, for lack of better words, just, some, like, kind of a bruise on your spinal cord, and there's a chance that your nerves are going to find pathways.
But that's all it takes is a bruise to be able to...
Yeah.
lights out like
Yeah,
that?
a little bump on your spinal cord, man.
Really?
Nerves are wild. But so they told me pretty early on, they were like, you know, you're incomplete, which is good.
Okay.
But then they looked at me and they said, but most people with your level of injury do not see much results on getting anything back. And at this time, like, yeah, I could lift my arms off the bed like that high, and that was all the function I had in my body. Couldn't feel anything. It was like, and they were like, well, yeah, I'll tell you that it's incomplete, but I'm going to tell you you should plan to figure out how you're living your life like this. I was like, wow, okay.
I mean, you were 16? How old?
16.
I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine. One, as a parent, and two, like I was big athlete, sports growing up, wild, crazy. I mean, I couldn't even imagine hearing and laying in a bed, only able to lift your arms a couple inches. I mean,
Yeah.
that's got to be terrifying.
Well, and it was, like I said, I think there for a while I was just kind of in shock,
Okay.
like just didn't really grasp what was going on, kind
Yeah.
of just getting told this stuff, but not really listening, just like, in my head, but to this day, I don't know what I was thinking, like, I don't know if I just thought it was like, oh yeah, this is going to be a couple months and I'm going to be back up to running. But then, yeah, once I got to Denver and it was like, it was pretty evident
That's
of
when it
the
set in.
situation. I was like, it was crushing, man. Like back to being an athlete, like I had some pretty good opportunities to go do some pretty big things. Like, I mean, like the year before, so sophomore year of high school, I decided to run track for the first time in my life, won 2 state championships. Like had some college looks just for track that year, my sophomore year of high school, 15 years old, like doing pretty big things, long jump, won the state in long jump, and 4x400 meter relay. Like had some good opportunities to go do some stuff with that. Rodeo, like could have gone probably
your
played
life ahead of
college
you.
ball. Like, yeah, I had a lot of, and that's all I knew. Like my whole life was like, I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm going to go play sports somewhere. Like I'm going to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And, obviously that's the cliche, every kid's dream, oh, I'm going to go. But I had a real shot, like to go at least, I mean, for sure, next level college, and then see where life takes you.
Yeah.
And that's all I'd planned for. Like I had no idea what I wanted to do outside of sports. Like nothing ever in my life has, I mean, still to this day, really, like there's just nothing that has got me fired up like competing in athletics. So it was once that set in, that's where the real life's kick in the nuts started for me. It was like, holy shit, like I'm not going to be able to do all this stuff I love. Like that's gone from me. And when you're 16, you're, especially as a male, you're on top, you're invincible at that age. You're like, I'm the cream of the crop, man. Like this is nothing. I'm invincible,
Yeah.
So kind of getting hit with that at 16, you're like, you think you're done, you're like, oh, there's nothing else. Like, what's the point? Like,
What do you do from here?
Yeah. Where do you go?
What was physical therapy like? So now life is setting in that, I don't want to say life. Now reality setting in that you're paralyzed. All the sports are gone. The basic going to the bathroom, brushing your teeth, getting up, getting dressed today, that's all gone.
All gone. Yeah.
What is the next step as far as physical therapy? Because now it's setting in, and now you're realizing how much pain and how much mobility, everything that you've lost.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was brutal. Like it was, physical therapy at Craig is awesome. Like, because they have so many aspects of it from, trying to get you stronger, but also, you're just learning how to live again. Like I was there for 3 months, just, I might as well have been a toddler, like
Really?
I got to figure out how to, everything I know about living life up until this existence, how to get dressed in the morning, how to just basic daily everything, that you need to do to survive on a daily basis. I got to relearn it at 16 years old. Like
that's crushing.
I got to figure out how to, well, and there's a lot of stuff I just couldn't do, like physically couldn't do, which was even tougher. One time I spent 2 hours on a mat in Craig Hospital trying to get a shoe on. And I was like, I was like, I'm an athlete. Like I like to accomplish things, but I'd never been more pissed off in my life. Like in that moment, just like, I'm just trying to put my fucking shoe on, man. Like, are you kidding me? And they're just like, keep trying and keep trying. I was like, I'm trying, man. I promise I'm trying. Like, it's just not happening.
Yeah.
Like, so it was just a brutal wake up call, you know, of like, well, you got to figure it out. Like, and it was, I don't even know. It was just a long process of, and at that stage, I still didn't have, I mean, like, near as much as what I do today. Like,
I can imagine.
Recovered a lot since then too. But so it was just, literally just figuring out how you're gonna
start off,
and not even necessarily what I'm gonna do to get through the day. Like, once again, my parents were learning. Like, my parents were rocks. Once again, like they were learning how to do medical stuff that I needed, so we didn't have to. Just stuff with my bladder. Like,
okay,
I had an indwelling catheter that was put in me to, like, it was, I don't know, above, it was in between my belly button and my penis. That was just straight in. And my parents learned how to change it so we didn't have to deal with doctors. Like, I would have, like, that scared the shit out of me. But they were just like, it's like all this stuff that they learned how to do, man, was just to make my life easier. But like that stuff, like, so as much as I'm learning how to live my life, you know, at what I can do, they were jumping right in to be like, how are we going to learn to help him live his life again? You know, like,
yeah, it's not just I mean, obviously you took the most drastic change with your life, but I mean, all the closest people to you, like your parents and sister at that time. And I mean, everybody's learning everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Learning how to navigate the world again, you know, like, and then luckily since then I've regained a ton. And I mean, for a long time, it was like, and we can get into this more. I'm trying to keep the timeline straight for you here, but you know, it was like, I sat there for a long time being like, oh, I'm going to have to live with my parents forever. Like, brutal. Like, what 18-year-old wants to like look that reality in the world and be like, dude, I got to live with my mom and dad for the rest of my life. Cause at that time I could not, it was either parents or healthcare system, you know, like somebody was helping take care of me. Yeah, like I couldn't do it by myself. So,
oh God, man, I couldn't even imagine. I could not even imagine. And as a parent, I mean, how crushing it would be.
Yeah.
How did your parents respond to this? I mean, obviously you said your dad was there by your side, but I mean, it's got to be pretty hard on your mom.
I mean, you know, is one of those things that like which I'm the same way. Like, they were great around me, you know. Like, I never knew. I mean, we knew that it was serious. Like, I could tell that they knew it was serious. Like, but they never like gave that panicked
feel
around me. You know, it was never like, oh, Boone, we're fucked, dude. Like, it was like they were just trying to just carry on, like, around me. Like, hey, man, we're gonna figure it out. No problem. Just, it's like, okay. Like, and thankfully they did that, because I was. Like, I think I could have gone either way on the early stages, you know, of like, if they would have been freaking out, I probably would have been much more freaked out than I was, you know, because I was just kind of looking at those around me going like, how bad is this? And my parents were like, hey, you know, we're going to figure it out. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, sweet, no problem. Like, if they had been like, dude, you're in bad shape, I would have been like, what? No way.
Okay.
So they were just great, man. I could not have done it without, even to this day, you know, like I couldn't. I would not be anywhere near where I'm at without my parents.
I want to back up just a little bit to physical therapy. What was that like? Because I've had buddies that have similar injuries, and hearing some of the stories that come from that, how hard and painful it is, because as a physical therapist that are helping you, they're there to push and get you going again. So was it pretty rough?
Well, I mean, yes and no, because I also have that mentality. Like,
okay,
like even like when so in Denver, it was just kind of a whirlwind of like all the little stuff, like brushing your, like, small stuff, but then to ramping it up to trying to gain strength and all that stuff. But I was pushing the pace too. Like,
okay,
that's my world. Like, you know, I wanted to
challenge accepted.
I'm like, like, I want to do more. I want to do more. I want to do more.
Okay.
Like, from that point on, like, as I got more down the line, when I came back to Boise, it was like I quit going to physical therapy because I was like, we're just not doing enough. Like,
Really?
like, and the guy, and I don't want to rag on, I love the guys in Boise to help me.
Yeah.
Like, they were great, but it was just like, I wanted to do, and maybe not more, but just, I wanted to do what I wanted to do to push myself, you know,
Yeah.
like I didn't need I felt like I was just going there to have somebody push me, but I was like, well, I mean, I'm going to push myself way harder than what these guys are going to do for me. Like, I don't need the motivation. I have the motivation.
So how do you feel that mindset propelled you? I mean, because I'm sure you saw, I don't want to say the victim mentality because everybody takes everything differently and it hits everybody, but did you see some people that were just, my life's over, this is it, and then here you are like, fuck, let's go, let's do another round, let's take a few more steps.
Well, so we need to be. I want to back it up here because this is the part I think people are going to relate to.
Okay.
The most is this whole section I'm going to talk about.
Okay.
Is it took me as much as like at that point I did want to push myself, but at this point I'd always been a very positive person my whole life. Like, I was a, comedian, jokester. Like, I was the funny guy, like always in a good mood. And so for the first time in my life, I was experiencing depression. Like, didn't realize it. Like, I was just, I mean, obviously my life, it was pretty clear to see how I could get into that, but like, I didn't realize it at the time, but like, it was just a bad time. I mean, it was probably, way longer than I'd like to admit, like 3-4 years that I was just, because I was still, 16 years old, and I had to go back to freaking geography. Like, like I'm figuring out how to just wake up in the morning again, and like, so it was like 3 or 4 years of just brutal depression by myself, like struggling by myself, because I'm a very outward people person. So like when I'm hanging out with the buddies, when I'm around people, I'm nobody'd know anything's wrong. Like I don't like people. I don't know. I'm just a positive guy. So when I'm around people, it's just easy for me to get out of that mindset while I'm with them to just have fun for the minute. But then like it was the second I was back alone, it was just brutal. Like,
when did you realize that how bad the depression was? Because it's one of those things, I feel that it creeps.
Yeah.
And then you're years in, you're like, fuck.
Well, it was.
Here it is.
So I'll give you I don't even really know what it was. It was just, it was, like I said, so I graduated, went to CWI for 2 years, and then went to Boise State. Like, throughout that whole time, my life was just back to my parents. I mean, there was 2 things that were keeping me going at this time: my parents and God. Like, I was not kicking my feet over the bed in the morning on my own will. Like, I was not motivated to do anything. Like, I want to say this to emphasize the point. Like, I've been tiptoed around it a lot last 10 years now, because I don't want the people in my life to worry about me.
What do you mean by the tiptoed around? Like,
this part? Well, so like, I mean, every day for like 3 years, there wasn't a day that went by that I just wished I was just dead. I was like, this isn't what I want. It's like every day. There wasn't a single day that I did not have that thought once a day that was like, this is just not worth it. Like,
was it because of obviously being paralyzed, or did you feel like a burden, or what? Because now you have,
it was all more probably self-centered. It's like, I mean, all the stuff that is obvious. Like, well, all the things that you love seemingly gone. All the activities you loved gone. And I've learned more since then, but like at this time of my life, I'm like, sure, it's gone. I'm never gonna be able to do anything that I love again. Gonna have to. It wasn't necessarily burden. Like, that thought creeped through my head a little bit, but my parents, once again, so good that like I was never worried about they were overrun with my situation. So it wasn't any of that. Like, it was just all solely on myself. Like, just back to, I was still young. I mean, at this time I'm still 18 years old, So it's like, I don't have a ton of life experience outside of before I was 16 years old, when life, I got no responsibilities and your whole life is just have fun,
Yeah.
So all of a sudden the fun's gone. And up until that point in my life, I think that's all life is, just like, oh, let's just have fun.
Yep.
So, it was a long 3 or 4 years. And then, I started going to Boise State, and this is when whatever switch flipped it was at Boise State. I started going to school there, had like one class a day, 4 days a week. Took me longer to drive there than I sat in class for.
Yep.
So then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to start going to the rec center and just see what I can do in the gym.
Okay.
And that was the first step to me figuring my shit out.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. And my sister, once again, back to family. I was nervous, hadn't been in the gym since I'd been hurt, really, other than therapy gyms,
Yep.
where you got a guy holding your hand through it all,
Yeah.
And so my sister went in there with me, just kind of went around all the machines to see what I could do on my own, see what I could get away with, and got a little game plan. I started lifting every day again, and it was like life was immediately better.
Really?
100%.
Why? What do you what?
I think a sense of normalcy.
Okay.
It was something that I finally chose to do on my own. It was something I would have done before,
Sure.
It's I would have been lifting if I hadn't got hurt,
Yeah.
no doubt. So I was it's just something that I felt like was me again,
Okay.
This is something I'm doing by myself without anybody's help. I'm lifting.
Feels good.
Feels good, man.
Okay. So is that little bit of motivation? I don't want to say little. I'm not downplaying it, but I mean just something simple enough of just, okay, I can move my arms, I can get blood flowing, feels
Yeah.
good, and
Yeah.
that was what it took.
That was what it took, man. And then this is the beautiful part about it, though, is because everybody gets so tripped up on, how do I how do I find positivity? How do I, and it, the awesome part for me being able to look back now and see is well, from whatever day it was that I went from the day before being I'd rather be dead, to the next day of hey man, things are looking up. Nothing changed. My life's still, I woke up every day, still have pain.
Yep.
Still takes me 7 minutes to put my freaking socks on, everything was still the same. The only thing that was different was the way I was looking at the world, my mindset. And, people hear that all the time, your mind, and it's true, dude. Your mind is a powerful tool, and it's just how you view things is how you're gonna, is gonna choose your path for you. Because nothing changed in my life. I didn't just wake up one day and I was back to running a 4.40 and it was sweet.
Yeah.
I woke up and just instead of just looking at how bad everything is, I'm just things are good.
Yeah.
That's what I tell people. It's everybody, I think, wakes up in the morning and just thinks the world should be perfect, their day's going to be perfect. And then when the one inconvenience happens, it derails it,
Mm-hmm.
And I try to live the opposite now. I try to wake up every day and be dude, this day's going to be shit. Everything's going to go wrong. And then when it doesn't, it's great day. Or only 2 things go bad and you thought 10 were, you're awesome day, man.
Yeah.
Got out of there pretty good,
Yep.
Just your mind is so powerful.
It really is.
Yeah.
I feel a lot of people, because you hear people talk about it, and of speaking positivity, or getting that mindset set.
Yeah.
And I feel a lot of people fight it, your flesh, just you don't want to believe it, but once you actually start thinking in a certain way and putting that out there and you're speaking it into existence, I don't want to say manifesting.
Yeah, I hear you.
I've talked to other guests before. They speak of manifesting and things like that. Me, it's more of a conversation with God, or that's the direction I would rather go.
Yeah.
But I speak very positive about things that we got going on in our life, and it shows.
Yeah.
But if you're sitting here dwelling or talking negative on
Absolutely.
anything in your life, you're creating your own cancer in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So now that you're in the gym, you're going back. I got a question. What was it like, kind of to backtrack a little bit, what was it like going back to high school for the first time as a kid, paralyzed? You walked out of that school one night to go play football, to play in a, you said state champion or
Just playoff game, yeah.
playoff game. So you leave, go play a playoff game, and the next time you come back, you're in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
What was that like?
I mean, talk about a hit to a 16-year-old boy's ego, you know?
Okay.
Like, I was a pretty popular guy, you know, like, just talk about a hit. Like, and but to back up even further, when I was in Craig Hospital, the first time I had been in the public in a wheelchair was like, you know, we finally got the first outing, and I was going with my parents. We just went to some little Western store there just to get out, you know, not doing anything, just to go out. And I remember we walk into this place, and there was a line, like 200 people right when I walked in. And, you know, it was my first experience of, like, I mean, you see, you know, in life, when you see somebody different than you, just people look, you know,
Yeah.
like, I don't care what it is, like, nothing bad, nothing, you know, nobody's looking to be nasty.
Yeah.
Just like curious, you know.
Yeah.
So to see a kid in a wheelchair, everybody's gonna glance.
Mhm.
But me was like locked in on it, you know. I'm like, all these people are just looking at me, like,
You feel like you got a magnifying glass.
yeah.
On you.
I'm like, what, you know, and it was just, and it was little stuff too, because it was like I went back to high school, and it was with the catheter setup I had that I mentioned earlier, like, it was painful because so I got a lot of feeling back.
Okay.
And so I had a surgery that changed that now, so we're way better off. But back then it was painful, like, so I couldn't wear jeans, like, and I at that point in my life, I was past my skater phase and into my cowboy phase.
Okay.
You know, so I'm wearing jeans and like tucked in shirt every day, like, I've never been a style guy, but like that was just what I was accustomed to.
For sure.
You know, and now I'm wearing sweats, and like going to school in sweats for me was just like, what the fuck are we doing?
Did you?
And it was just,
Sorry.
yeah, no, it was just like I said, a hit to the ego of like, well, you know, I don't know. It was just, I felt like just not me, you know.
Were the kids? Because I know schools could be ruthless, and kids. You said you're a pretty popular guy. Were they pretty accepting? I mean, were you welcomed right back in? And
CUNA was wild, man. like
so
it was a very good community. Like, I mean, when I got hurt, my story blew up, not only in CUNA, but across the valley.
Okay.
Like, I mean, when I got back to, like, the day I got back from Craig Hospital, they flew me in. My parents I don't know, my sister picked me up, whoever picked me up. I had a police escort into town, and the high school had a huge rally that, like, I rolled up, the news was there, like, probably every person in the high school was there, like.
Mhm. It's a pretty big
So
deal
it
for
was
a
everybody,
teenage kid
yeah,
to get
totally.
paralyzed. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, it's you don't hear of it very. I mean, it happens, but small community, and you have an awesome kid everybody knows, and now wheelchair bound, and
Yeah.
you know, that's a pretty intense thing for a small community at that time to go through.
Yeah. Yeah, and CUNA just had a kind of a streak of bad luck at that time too, because I got hurt. Another one of my teammates had a really scary health scare went septic and
Really?
like almost died. And then we had a young kid that died in a school bus crash, like all in the same 3 or 4 months. So the
Really?
town was just kind of like shook up. Like,
Okay.
so when I got back, I think it was just kind of a unifying thing for everybody, really.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Everybody needed to see, like, you
Yeah.
you were bringing some positivity back to the community
Yeah.
in a way, I bet.
Yeah.
Man, couldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
Couldn't even imagine. So you're back at school. You're in college now. How was college? I mean, college is a
Shitty.
fascinating place to begin with for I don't say normal student, but mobile student. But here you are, and you're driving. You're doing one class a day. You're hitting the gym now. I mean, how's that feel?
Well, so the CWI, like
Okay. Yep.
the college experience at CWI was just shitty.
Why is that?
It was me in peak depression, driving to class, driving home, staying in my bubble of the world sucks. I don't want to do this. So that was just pretty miserable experience. Pretty just pathetic time of my life of just like not living, just existing, you know,
Okay.
just being. I was just physically here, but that was about it. So
you know nobody there. I mean,
yeah,
and
no,
you're in this.
and I wasn't a real. I mean, at that time, I wasn't a like. I'm not gonna really go. Like I had my core group. I mean, even to this day, I have. I mean, my roommate and the friends I hang out with are kids I've known since I was in the 4th grade.
Oh, really?
Like we're all super tight. Like I'm not a big go find a new circle guy, you know.
Yeah.
So I wasn't trying to find anybody, you know. I was just like trying to go.
I mean, you're still figuring life out.
Yeah, it was literally just driving to class, drive home, like talk to as few people as I could, go home. That was about it.
Which that does not help with depression at
No,
all.
exactly. Yeah. Which I didn't, you know, at that time I didn't care, you know, like I wasn't looking for ways out. Like I just was stuck in that mindset, you know, like we said, like I hadn't gotten to the point of hitting the bottom where I was yet that I was like, I'm just miserable of feeling this way.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be another way to feel. How do I get there?
Was the gym your rock bottom? Like, was that the day that it clicked that you knew, or was there a moment in this time of recovery, or even after, where was there a rock bottom for you? Is what I'm trying to ask, I guess.
You know, once I started like really consciously thinking about like, dude, I don't want to be on the earth anymore. Like, and it, because before, you know, for a long time it was just like I just couldn't wait to go to sleep because that was the only time that my mind wasn't just thinking, you know, that I wasn't just sitting there thinking about how I thought my life was so shitty.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then it turned into more and more scary thoughts. And then it was like, holy shit, dude. And I don't know I don't think that was the driver for me to go to the gym though. Like, I don't think it was just weird. I think I lucked into my saving grace of working out and getting my mindset changed, because it was just I was going through those emotions, and then one day I was just like I said, like it was just taking me longer to drive to school and back, so I was like, let's just try to make it worth it.
Yeah.
Just hobbled into the gym one day and then just never looked back. Like
during your surgeries and recoveries, I'm sure you've had multiple surgeries since the initial one. I could be wrong, but when did you start to get mobility back and start moving again? When did all of that start setting in?
It was quick. Like,
was it?
I had, like, I was probably standing up a little bit within the first 4 months.
Okay.
Like, not on my own necessarily, but like I could get stood up and stand there and like.
So those are little wins.
Yeah. I mean, like immediately as well. So back to the doctors in Boise, you know, they'd come in every day and do their little try to wiggle your fingers, try to wiggle your toes, like.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know this till months later, but you know, he'd come in, wiggle your toes, and one day, I guess, which, you know, unbeknownst to me, he went out to my parents' probably like 2 weeks after I got hurt, and he's like, well, I don't want to get anybody too excited because I'm not sure, like, but I think I see his toe wiggling when I'm asking him to wiggle his toe. Told my parents that in the hallway because he didn't want me to get a false sense of hope, you know, which I appreciate. Like, much rather tell me exactly what they did. Yeah. Like, you're not going to get shit back, and then everything's just a awesome win after that. Like,
For sure.
A little toe wiggle. My parents didn't tell me. And
did they come in and want to see it, or like, hey, can you wiggle?
Yeah, I don't even remember. I'm sure they did. But yeah. But then I remember when I was like, my big oh shit moment, like I've got something going on here, was on the flight to Denver from Boise. You know, they had me on a little medical plane deal, and I was sitting there, and I was just like, I don't know if I tried to move or something, but like I just flexed my right butt cheek. Like I could feel my butt cheek twitching.
Really?
And I was like, I was fired up. You know, I'm sitting in this plane. I can't see anybody. Like it's all cramped in there. You know, my mom, I think my mom, I think she was in the cockpit, and she was terrified. She didn't want to be on that little plane. My dad was like at my feet, and nobody could hear me.
Are you laying or sitting?
I'm laying
okay,
fully
so
flat.
Staring
yeah, I'm sitting here. I did it for like 2 hours. And like I was just like flexing it, and then, you know, I couldn't talk to my parents, like, you know, but I was fired up, you know. And then we landed. I was like, you guys will never believe what happened on that flight.
Really?
And then I'm pretty sure that's when they told me about the toe thing, you know, because they just didn't want me to get a false sense of hope
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I was like, I'm flexing it. And they're like,
I
oh,
can
by the
feel it.
way, I think you're moving your toe too. I was like, what?
So you're now you're
Yeah.
starting to get these
Yeah.
little wins, and I mean that's got to be
Yeah.
pretty awesome. I mean, obviously it's still a shit situation, but little things like that, and that's
Yeah.
what's that's why I wanted to have this conversation, because you don't, people see
Yeah.
somebody in a wheelchair, but it's like the fact that you're able to flex your butt cheek
Yeah.
is so exciting to you
Yeah.
at this point.
It's crazy. Well, and it's just crazy how, every spinal cord injury is so different. Like
Sure.
everybody has different. I mean, it's funny. So I met a kid there that was 16, farm kid from Kansas that we're still really good buddies. Broke his back, and I was in his wedding, and like
Really?
we're still good buddies. Like
Really?
get together every once in a while when we can. Like just good friendship created from something shitty.
Yeah.
Like, which was good. Like I needed that. Like it's super nice to have somebody. It was just luck of the draw that it happened to be a kid pretty similar to me, lifestyle wise.
Yep.
That we've been able to just kind of go through that together but yeah, so you just start getting those little things, and I don't know. Everybody will tell you something different with the spinal cord injury world, because it's like, I can stand, I can move around a little bit, I can, I'm doing good, but I'll talk to somebody that's like my buddy, paralyzed from the back, so he's doesn't have his legs at all. He's a complete injury.
Okay.
And so it's like we'll sit there and bullshit with each other and be like, he'd be like, oh, dude, if I could stand up so I could grab cups out of the counter, like that'd be sick. And then I'm like, dude, if I could do anything with my fucking hands, that would be sick. It's just funny how you, even in that situation where it is just how humans are naturally, it's like you're always looking at what that guy's got, and it's, I don't know. It's not good or bad, but it's just funny.
Then at the same time, you can look at somebody that's way worse and be like, okay, I'll take what I
Right.
have.
Well, and that's what happened to me in Denver too, because they worked on spinal cord injuries and brain injuries, and that was a good mental boost for me for a while, because the only room they had when I got there was the traumatic brain injury floor. So I got put on that floor, and I'm walking through the hallways, wheeling through the hallways, and I'm seeing these people that are just
Vegetable state.
like they got no idea what planet they don't know. They're gone. And I'm wheeling by, and I was like, okay, all right, not too bad. We're in all right shape. Yeah.
Yeah, this sucks, but
yeah.
I'll take my problems back real quick. It was that saying, like, if you looked at everybody else's problems, you pull yours back real quick. Yeah, one of those situations.
The only thing about that too, though, that I get this a lot, is people come to me and they tell me, oh, your story's so motivational, this, that. Like I realize I take this for granted, that for granted, and I hate getting people into that mindset.
Okay.
Because it's, from what I've learned through my life now, is that, it doesn't matter what your struggle is. Like, it doesn't matter how maybe seemingly small your problem is. If it's a big problem for you, like you gotta climb that mountain just how I'm gonna climb my mountain of like, it doesn't matter. Like there's no, different problems may look like one's more severe, but if like that's what you struggle with, you have to attack it the same way. So I hate it when people like try to do the compare game of like, oh well, why am I struggling so much when he's going through that? It's like, doesn't matter. Like don't fall into that trap of, because that's how you revert the other way and start digging yourself a hole deeper mentally, because you're like, well, this guy's got it so much harder and I'm sitting here being a little bitch, it's like, well, no, you're not. Like up until, like I said, up until I broke my neck, I broke my hand calf roping one summer, couldn't rope for the summer, and I thought it was the worst thing that ever happened to me, I'm like, oh, well, this sucks, this is terrible.
My life's over.
Yeah, so it's like, whatever your struggle is, you have to attack it in the same way that I'm attacking anybody else in the world. It's like we all have to fight our battles how we have to fight them, and there's no comparing. Like you just gotta take it one step at a time. And the back to the kind of mentality aspect of it, is like I see people getting caught up in the social media world in the, I don't know, the trying to get motivated to change, like they think that everybody's so focused on external forces and they think that's how it's going to change their life, is the watching podcasts, which like my story, somebody's going to tell me like, dude, your story motivated me. Well, motivated you, but to do what? Like there's no, like, I hate it when people say that but there's no change. There's no action. It's like, motivation is useless without an action, like, what did I motivate you to do? I know I didn't motivate you to do anything. My words might have been like, oh, cool, that was nice hearing, but I'm not motivating you to do anything. That's you. Like,
I don't know, man.
Well, here's what I'm saying is like, so you listen to all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And people, here's a good example, it's like, that's good fuel for the fire. Like, that's good fuel for your fire. You got to light the match, man. You got to start the fucking fire.
100%. Okay.
You got to start the fire.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter listening to the David
Goggins.
Goggins.
What if you're the match for somebody, though? You ever thought of that?
You'd be the match, but they still got to light it, man.
Okay.
They can, all that shit can fuel it. But like my story, like, I mean, I was fucking miserable. I didn't care what anybody said. I could listen to 1,000 motivational things.
Yeah.
Like, and people were like, I had a lot of good influence in my life, a ton of good influence in my life.
Yeah.
I had people coming to me, other quadriplegics. I had a guy come in that had an injury, and he walked into my room and was like, yeah, I had your same injury, man. Look at me.
Didn't motivate
I
you?
had a lot of, no, it pissed me off. I was like, good for you, dude. Like,
fuck out of my room.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
not walking.
yeah.
Okay.
But so it was me. Like, nothing changed until I decided, like, dude, I'm going to take the first step. Like,
Okay.
You can listen to all the shit in the world and get fired up about it, but until you all those podcasts aren't going to push you into the gym or push you into the career move that you're trying to do or push you into, you have to do it, dude. Like, there's none of those things are going to do it for you. They get you fired up. Sure. Absolutely. They get you excited about it.
Yeah.
But there's still going to be no change until you change, until you do the change.
I get what you're saying. I'm tracking what you're saying, but at the same time, it's, somebody's going to hear this and be like, fuck, okay, like, I have to go to the gym. But I mean,
yeah.
But they are lighting their own match. They're starting their own.
Exactly.
But I mean, but at the same time, you could be that little ember that's sitting there and ignites that fire, But I'm 100% with you. Like, I'm the same way. Like, I know people are like, oh, this guy motivated the fuck out of me and started my career and now they're worth millions. And then I hear somebody talking, I'm like, cool, bro, but it's the mindset at the end of the day of the individual. I feel like if you're not ready for it, you can hear it 1,000 times from 1,000 different people in 1,000 different ways.
Yes.
And you're going to go right back to where you were before you heard that.
Right.
But then there's some people that'll hear and dude, it'll change everything.
It'll get them going. Like, I 100% agree. Like, I think there's things that people can hear that they can say started whatever it was, but once again, it comes down to they started it. Like, that's what people don't give themselves enough credit for doing hard shit.
Absolutely.
Like, everybody wants to point to, like, well, this is what no, you did it, dude. Like, you did it. You took the first step. Nobody did that for you. Like, you got fired up because of that video. Hell yeah. You get fired up because of what you hear me say today. Like, badass. But you did the hard thing. Like, you did whatever the hard thing was for you. You started it, dude. Yep. Like, you took that step. You lit the fire. Like, you went out and got it. Like, I didn't push you to do whatever your first step is towards your goal, Like, I motivated you. I might have got you thinking about it, but I didn't make you take that first step.
Yeah.
Like, you did. You took that first step. And people don't give themselves enough credit for that shit.
No.
Like, they I think it's important. like look for that stuff. If that's what you need, if you're not a intrinsically motivated person, by yourself, and you need that push from others, like, great. Like, listen to all that shit.
For sure.
Get fired up. Listen to whatever's going to make you commit to taking the first step, to lighting your fire.
That first step 100% comes down to you.
Yeah. Nobody's going to do it for you.
Yeah.
Like, so all the self-help books and the this and that, like, sure, get some ideas, but like, at the end of the day, if you don't do anything with it, because how many times do you hear people say that? It's like, well, I'm motivated. Because to me, motivation is like, you were motivated to do an action, So it's like, if you just say I'm motivated, I'm like, okay, well, to do what?
Yep.
Like, motivation without an action is just nothing. It's talk. It's just talk. you know? So it's like, yeah, well, okay, well, what'd you do?
Yeah.
What do you mean? well, like, you're motivated. So what was that thing you did? Well, I'm just motivated. Well, no. Okay. Sick. Like,
I mean, I get it.
Take the step, dude. Like, that's what I love seeing is when it's like I listened to that or I heard this guy and then I went.
Inspired me to start.
And then I went. Yes. Like, that's what fires me up. It's like, oh, you heard that and then did something. Like, that's badass to me. It's like, because you, like, the motivation was cool. I'm glad you got the motivation, but it's badass to me that you took the step. Like, you did it, dude. That guy didn't do it.
Saying, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never really looked at it like that because, you know, you hear all these guys and these motivational speakers, and I've had people tell me, like, you motivated us to homeschool our kids, or you motivated me to do this or whatever. But it's like, but I'm like, oh, cool, that's badass. Like, I love that. But it was up to those individuals to make that decision. Like, okay, we heard these people talking about them pulling their kids or the changes they've made in their life, and then we did the same.
Right.
And it's like, okay, cool. But instead of like, oh man, you know, because at the same time it's like, oh, I love this. This is so motivating. Yeah. Well, did you pull your kids?
Right.
Did you start the business?
Do it.
Did you jump? You know? And so, yeah, Hunter, I'm tracking what you're saying for sure.
Like,
I've never heard it worded like that.
It's weird. Yeah, it's weird because people want people view motivation and inspiration is the same, right? It's just good. It's like good. Mm-hmm. Well, and it is good, but to me, it's good with action. Because being inspired to, like, I could like when I was in my depression, like, yeah, I could watch old I would watch old videos of myself, like at the state 4x400 meter relay. I mean, I was the third leg and I was back like 20 yards from this guy and I tracked him down. So like I get fired up when I'm watching that, like I'm like motivated. Yeah. But then if I don't get up and do something, then guess what? I was still sitting there being like, wish I'd rather be dead. Yeah. You know?
Wish I could do that again. But
so it's like, let's go get some. While I'm watching it, that's what the problem is. Like, people get fired up when you're watching it, you know? I'm motivated. Well, turn it, like, quickly. Like, go do it then.
Turn the motivation into action.
So and make it something real. Like, because it's not real until you do something, you know?
Absolutely.
And that's what kind of creates the, you know, the self need for it, or the, you know, the kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, just making them accountable, self-accountability, you know? It's like, once you start, then that kind of makes it real for you. Because when you're looking at it here going, I'm motivated to do it, but it's just hanging out up here, you know? Oh, I'm motivated to do that. I'm going to do that sometime. Mm-hmm. It's not real, you know? But then once you take that first step, then it becomes a little bit more real.
Oh, that's all. But that's the hardest.
That's the hardest part, yeah.
That's the hardest part is that initial step. I don't know if it's fear, doubt. My biggest one that stopped me in the past is almost a, what's the word I'm looking for, is a imposter syndrome. Yeah. You know, it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. Or this was one of them for a while. Like, we didn't know. I got a 17-year-old kid that's the producer of this podcast. And then I look at all these other people. They got teams and production companies and all the editors and clippers and all this shit for them. And I'm like, hey, kid, can you figure out how to fucking use this equipment? Like, how do we plug these mics? Like, we knew nothing, you know? And so same thing with the bakery. It's like, we don't come from a culinary background. We've never been to a course or a class to learn how to bake, but here we are. And I feel like we make the best sourdough bread, which we're going to send you home with a loaf, on the planet, you know? And so and then we're like, oh, do we know what we're doing? Should we sell it for this much? But like, our ingredients are great. So it's the same thing, but it was that initial step. Right. And we've had these conversations. We're like, who gives a fuck?
Well, then once you start, it's harder to, like, it's easy to push it off when you haven't started, right? Absolutely. It's easy to be like, oh, one day. Once you start, once you take the step, like, then it's like, all right, now we're doing this.
Now what's next?
Now we're doing it, you know?
I don't know why it's so hard. Maybe it is those things that I mentioned, you know, the imposter syndrome or doubt or fear or whatever it is. But every time that I've ever gone through those stages where it's like you're self-doubt, doubt. And then when you take that step, you're like, This podcast is the prime example. I talked about doing a podcast for probably 3 to 4 years. Yeah. Wasn't sure. I don't know how am I going to sit down. Like, what's our angle? I don't know. It's got to look like that. Dude, it took me forever. Yeah. And then once we did it, I look at her, I'm like, God, if we would have started,
exactly.
if we would have started when I initially was
Yeah.
talking about it, who knows where we would be right now? But I'm
Yeah.
cool where we're at
Yeah.
now because we took that step. I took that leap into, and you'd hear people, I'd tell people, oh, I'm going to do a podcast. I'd put it out on my social, like, yeah, I'm thinking about launching. Oh, just another pod. Oh, well, welcome to the other ones. And it's like, damn, dude, there is a lot. And, I would more pick apart
Right.
the negatives, like, okay, yeah, these
Right.
people, I'm just going to be another number and I'm just another podcast. And then finally I was like, you know what? They're not fucking doing anything.
Yeah.
Okay, who cares?
Well, that reminds, like you said, like focusing on the negative. Like, it's so much easier. Like, humans love
misery.
yeah, dude.
Negative, yeah.
Like you like just think, and this is back to just that kind of mindset. Like this is for anybody that's just like struggling, like just being positive. It's like we find the negative, right? The light turns red on you, driving down the road. Like, what about when you just cruise through it green? Why don't we be like, hell yeah, like fired up, got through green light? We don't ever do that, right?
Yeah.
We just focus on the inconveniences. It's like, let's celebrate the wins more.
Absolutely.
Like that. No matter how small, you took that first step, started the podcast, celebrate. Whatever it is, you do your first day at the gym. You've never been in the gym before, scared. Go to the gym on the first time, celebrate it. Don't be, don't quit focusing on all the small shit that goes wrong. Like,
what were some big wins for you? Obviously, getting back out of the hospital, the gym at college was a big win. But prior to that, you've had recovery. What were your little wins and what were some wins for you that were significant to you that during this recovery stage?
Yeah, like this is back to my parents. Really, it's like kind of showing me that life was going to go on. So like after I got back to school, I was 16. I'd had my driver's license for like a year maybe.
Okay.
Before I got hurt. So this was another brutal part of it. It's like you get that taste of freedom, dude. You're driving. You're like, the world's my oyster. And then boom, I'm back to calling my mom every day after school. Can you come pick me up? Like, it's
I didn't
brutal.
even think of that.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Okay.
So that was one of my big wins was and once again, thank God for my parents because I was just a negative Nancy, dude. I was just not into anything. So my parents, because when we were in Craig, they have a part of their therapy is like figuring out how to drive again.
Oh, okay.
And
so they had cars rigged out.
They had cars rigged up with hand controls, and I sat in one for a minute. But I mean, at that point, I was still pretty weak. Like I didn't, even if I would have been interested, I was like scared because I was just like, I'm not. I shouldn't be doing this.
I go back.
Yeah. So I had an old, which I still drive a different one, but in high school I had a 93 Dodge pickup truck, like pretty nice, 75,000 original miles on it, electric blue. I thought I was driving a freaking Cadillac, like
especially as a 16-year-old.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So and then after I got hurt, they raised a bunch of money and a guy painted it up, like it was cherry, dude.
Okay.
And I got back, and me just being a grumpy asshole. I was like, parents were like, let's get you driving again. And I was like, nah, I'm good. And then my mom was like, just did it. She was just like, well, we're going to the place here in Boise that installs this crap. Like,
yeah,
we're at least gonna put it in the truck. Like, you're gonna put it in the truck, and if you don't want to drive it, that's fine. Put it in the truck, went for one drive, and I was like, Mom, you're the saint. Like, that's the best idea I've ever had. Like, yeah, like duh, Yep. So that was a huge win. Like, and then same thing, like almost the exact same story with a Razor, like a side by side,
whatever.
Yeah. Because I was a motorcycle guy, so I was like, they were talking about it, like, you get those and I was like, it's not a motorcycle, not gonna be fun, I don't
want it. 4 wheels.
So they bought one, put hand controls in it, took it out, rolled it, was like, yep, I'm in. Yeah, just I don't know, fun stuff like that. And just getting back to life really is like the big wins for me. Just kind of like slowly over the years as we started doing more stuff. Like my dad, this was probably 6-7 years ago now, but bought a jet boat. See if we would use it from our neighbor across the street. Like, good deal. Like, it was pretty old, like 85 or something.
Yeah.
Like, let's just see if we're even going to use it. So that was the start of something big. Like, that was a big win. Now we're out catching
river runners,
like all the time, like, so it's just small stuff like that for me was just realizing that life, like, yeah, sure, I might not be going to the Caldwell Night Rodeo, but I can still have some fun.
Yeah.
I can still, like, hunting. Oh, this was the big game changer for me.
Okay.
I got a funny story you'll like. So I pretty much only didn't hunt 1 year, like one season.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Or maybe
That
so I
fall,
got
you got
hurt
that
in the
fall.
fall.
Yep.
Yeah. So and then the next season I didn't hunt, and then the season after that I started again.
Okay.
And it was chaos. It was my dad, so he's got a lot of good clients, like pretty big clients around here that are very kind, like very kind-hearted people.
Yeah.
Have let me come hunt their properties and stuff. And so the first year we were on this guy's place, had a bull tag, landowner bull tag, or maybe I drew it, or no, it was general tag. He just let me on his place, and so we're up there, and he's got a caretaker for this place that lives there, and so he's hunting with us, he's driving around the mountain, like, knows where everything's at. So he's just like, yeah, they're right there. We're like, okay. So we get over there, and we had like a little fold out swivel chair thing that's got a mount that holds my gun.
Yeah.
So we're on the side of the road, and there's 200 elk down below us, and they're bedded down, but there's a rock outcropping like 60 yards down this hill that's blocking us from having a shot. And so we're like, well, we could probably get down to that rock outcropping, right? And we're like, absolutely. So that guy takes the chair down there, comes back. I'm hooked onto my dad over his shoulder, and this guy that was helping I'm a foot taller than both these. My dad, I'm taller than my dad, taller than this guy. They're strapped under me. We start walking down this hill. It's raining. It's muddy. My dad loses an ankle. He goes down. I'm on top of him. That guy's on top of me. We're rolling down the hill, dude. We're like, we finally stop. We're like, we're just expecting to hear this whole herd of elk blow up. We're all just laying there going, just like somebody finally peeks up. He's like, still there. We're like,
let's go.
Nice, dude. We got up on that rock outcropping, and I sat there, dude. It was miserable. Like, there was a cow bedded down in front of this bull that I was going to shoot. And it's like elk there. Like, when you're in a situation like that, it's like, just be patient.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they're not going.
It'll happen.
Like, yeah. Like, don't try to scream and get them, like, don't try to stand them up. They'll stand up.
No.
But it was like an hour and a half, and I was sitting on this rock outcropping. It's just like 20-mile-an-hour wind, rain. I'm freezing, man. Like, freezing my ass off. My dad and this guy are huddled down under the rock, dude. It finally stood up, and I shot it, but it was like that. But then, so one of the coaches from my high school team, his son was married to a gal that their family runs a sportsman's club in Washington.
Okay.
And this would have been, I don't know, 2018 maybe, 17. They did a giveaway for the first year they raised money to get a track chair. I don't know if you've seen those, but they're
we have one with our charity, but I saw your photos too on your page.
But so just wheelchair with tank tracks on the side, basically, for people that don't know, like electric wheelchair, tank tracks.
Yep. They're pretty badass.
Yeah, and I was lucky enough to get that. There's only like 2 entries that first year, and I got it.
Yeah,
and that thing has been sick for me.
Oh yeah,
hunting, dude. Like,
they're pretty legit, man.
Had it like. I love testing the limits of things,
100%.
Like, we've had that thing in places that I'm sure if the manufacturers saw, they'd be like, what are you doing, dude?
We didn't make it for that.
Yeah, like, no way, man.
Yeah.
But it's been a blast. Like, that was another huge win for me. It was like getting back to
I can imagine.
Because I could hunt, like, I killed that bull without the track chair, but it's just driving around roads, driving around roads hoping to get lucky.
Yep.
And so this track chair has been sick. Like, just gets me way back out. We pull it behind a trailer on the Razor.
Yep.
So we'll get way up there, wherever we need to go, and then just drop that and scoot around on that.
No shit.
Yeah, it's a blast.
Those things are pretty cool, man. They're a hell of a tool. We've gone to some wild shit with ours where we're like underneath it,
like holding it just in case. Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah. Like, I'm not trying to fuck this dude up any more than he is, Like, here we are on a wounded vet trip. I'm like, I'm not trying to send you home worse than how we got you. Yeah. No, we've those are a hell of a tool, and they go they go all damn day. It seems like
pretty good.
Yeah,
it depends on what you're doing. I've
if you're climbing all day.
quick, yeah. But yeah, no, for the most part, they're awesome. There's a There's a company out of Canada that makes like mountain bikes, adaptive mountain bikes.
Really?
That I'm trying to get into, dude. They're sick.
What's the name of them?
Bowhead Corp.
Okay.
They're like, I mean, they have like several different models, but they've got like some downhill racing. Like these guys are ripping these things, dude.
Are you sitting in it? And
Sitting in it, it's like 2 wheels in front, 1 in back, like articulating suspension, dude. And these guys are rip. I'm like, I'm 100% need to get one. I'm 100% gonna hurt myself. Like, but they're sick, dude. Like
that would be legit up in Tamarack.
it'd just be fun. I
Does
want.
Bogus do a downhill course in the summer, or is it?
I think they got mountain biking up there.
It'd be dumb not to.
Yeah.
Such a bit. I mean, that's such a growing thing. Especially,
Yeah.
I mean, you go up there in the summertime, up to Tamarack and all that. Dude, they got some pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah. No, I'd love to do that. They're expensive,
I'm
but
gonna cut that clip and send it to him.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
See if we get you a bike. Cut that clip, kid.
Yeah, no, it'd be fun, dude. Like that's my adrenaline. Well, it's been funny as I've got older, you know. Like my adrenaline junkie side's still there a little bit for sure, but like I've aged out of like so where I was really getting it was the Razor, like the side by side, because I had one. I mean, I only had a 900, so it was a smaller one. Trail, I got it 50 inches, so I could still fit on all the
I feel like
4-wheeler trails.
a guy like you, though, you sound identical to me, is probably the best bet.
Oh yeah,
not
yeah, no, for
the
sure.
twin turbo.
I mean, I definitely piled that thing up enough, like
100%.
on it all by itself.
100%.
So, yeah, like, but yeah, so it's.
So how do you get the rush these days? Is it still the
Dude, I'm calming down. Like I'm telling you, like me and my dad we sold my Razor.
okay?
And we just went partners on a fully enclosed Can-Am.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, with the
like
heat, the
I just
AC.
want to putt around, dude. I'm getting soft.
Got the windows.
Yeah, like I ain't trying to freeze my ass off anymore. Like
My it literally, I think it was yesterday or the day before. My youngest, I used to race. I used to stunt street bikes. I mean, dude, I almost killed myself a couple of years ago in an ATV wreck. I sent one like 70 foot and landed on my face, and so I've been that guy.
yeah.
So, but the other day, this bike goes just zipping by us 100 miles an hour, and my youngest, like, I got the knee for speed, Dad. I'm like, I'm gonna tell you this. It's going to be painful and it's going to be expensive because you're going to crash shit. You're going to end up in the hospital if you're anything like your old man. And she's like, do you still get the adrenaline rush, Dad? Or she goes, do you still chase the adrenaline? And I looked at her, I was like, kid, no. I'm aged out of that. It took me a little bit longer than most.
We sound a lot alike because like growing up, I was doing the motocross and the skateboarding and the snowboarding. I was the guy that was like, if anybody was looking at something and was like, you think we could hit? I was just like already 5th gear pinned. Like, I don't know, but I'll try. Just
where's Boone?
Yeah, dude. Like, just like
100% me.
we'll see if it works out. Did you check the landing? No.
Only one way to find out. I've been that way my whole life. That the only rule that like my good buddies know. This is my only rule. If Bam says it's a bad idea, nobody questions it. And it's been a serious thing, man. Like I've been with guys, we've been on doing things where I was like, there was one time we were in Mexico. I was down there for my birthday and I brought a bunch of buddies down and we were just partying. We're fishing offshore and this whole, it was one of the wildest adventures I've ever been on, like on the water. It was, if we were National Geographic photographers or videographers, it would have been like the mecca of any National Geographic person ever, because we came across this school of stingrays, like thousands, or the bat rays, the ones that flip out of the water. If you just YouTube like Mexico bat rays, thousands. I'm talking, when I say thousands, like underneath the boat, and they're jumping out of the water, flipping. A whole pod of dolphins comes right up to the boat. Sea lions. We caught a Dorado the size of you that day. It was fucking insane. We lose the key to the boat. Well, we thought the boat broke down. We're out in the Gulf of Mexico fishing, and the boat won't start. All we brought was beer. We don't drink all the beer. One of these days, right? So, anyways, this pod of whales comes. We've got the boat started. We realized the kill switch, the pin came out when we caught this giant Dorado. It, like, the chaos knocked this thing out. So after like 3 hours of sitting in the sun baking, we finally figure it out. Anyways, this giant pod of whales, these black whales, come swimming right to us, and we're like, fuck, we're jumping in. We got GoPros, snorkels and fins on. And they had all these babies with them, big whales, all this shit. And we get ahead of them. And our tour guide, not tour guide, our fishing guide, we're getting ready. And like my buddy's on the edge. Like he's got fins on, snorkel, he's in, and I'm with him. We got the selfie stick with GoPros on. We're like, this is gonna be the most epic shit we've ever filmed in our life. I look at Alejandro's, the guy that we use every year we go down there. I'm like, do you swim with these? And he goes, and I'm looking at these things and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I've seen somewhere where these whales have attacked somebody. Like I've seen a YouTube video or something. Literally, as these whales are me to you on the side of this boat, we're getting ready to jump in. I was like, I don't know. And then all my buddies look at me like, what do you mean you don't know? I'm like, I feel like I've seen these types of whales. I don't know what the fuck these whales are called, but I swear to God that I've seen them eat somebody or something once. And everyone's like, all right, we're out. We're out. And like nobody questioned it. The second we get back to service, we're like, Gulf of Mexico, or not Gulf, yes. We're in the Sea of Cortez. And we're like, Sea of Cortez, black whale. First thing that comes up, pilot whale drags free diver 100 feet down or some shit like that. Here's these whales grab this woman and just like play with her.
Oh no.
Pull her down. Everyone's like, oh my God, you were so right. Like, but that's how it's been my whole life. If I'm always in, I'm that guy. It's like, oh dude, we should jump. Like, how deep is it? I'm like, yeah, that's fucking good enough. You know, like one of those, or like, I can clear that gap. Like, that's how I've been my whole life. But if I've ever questioned anything, that's the only rule when hanging out with me. If I question it, don't push it, because if I got the spidey sense going off, which most of the time it doesn't work, that's why I end up in the hospital. Like my wife, after my last wreck, she looked at me and she goes, listen, asshole, I have watched you use 9 of your lives, and I don't even know what you used prior to me. She's like, you're done. And I was like, all right. Like I get it. Like,
that's fine. I was the opposite, because I was like, I never got hurt. Like I was doing that. Like this is what all my buddies joke is like. Everybody just laughs that I got hurt playing football, because it was like the 10,000 other just dumb shit things that I was doing. They're like, how was it football, dude? Like this is a classic. So my roommate, I'm gonna shout him out, Jake. He was telling me that, and I didn't know this until like 2 months ago. Yeah. Hilarious, because I've always been, you know, just pile a motorcycle up and then just roll out of it and be like, whew, that was crazy, huh? Everyone's like, what? Like, and
he's dead.
So I guess that night. So when I got hurt, I don't think I saw my phone for like 3 months. I had no idea where it was. Like just gone, dust in the wind. Like, so my buddy, I got hurt, you know, I'm laying on the field and he's like, you know, the word's getting around that it's me, and first thing he does is text me. He's like, "Get off the field, pussy."
Oh no!
He's like, he didn't tell me about it until like 2 months ago. He was like, "Yeah, dude, I text you." Like after I saw that it was you, I was like, "Get off the field, pussy." I was dying laughing. I was like, "He's like, yeah, I didn't realize you were paralyzed at that time." I was like, "Yeah, I'm sure not, man."
That's cool to be able to have friendship that long. I feel like it's rare.
Yeah.
I
got a good group. Good group.
Yeah, because most of the people, like, that's what we kind of always preach to the kids. I'm like, God, especially if you're gonna spread your wings and get the hell out of here. I'm like, you know, just focus on growing up, having a great time. But it's I don't think it's as common anymore to have.
Oh no. Yeah.
Friends that you've grown up with.
We all, like, whenever people, because I mean, literally, like, we have probably a group of, well, I don't know. Anybody that we hang out with regularly is somebody we've known for.
That's cool.
Ever. When we go out and people are like, "Oh, you guys meet in college?" We're like, "No, like 2nd grade." And people are like, "Oh, really? You guys?" Because it's like a whole group. It's like 10 guys, and we're like, "Yeah, we've all known each other our whole lives." And everyone's like, "What?" Like, yeah, no,
that's cool.
Just you know, you got lucky, I guess. Just
for sure.
Good group of boys that we can all stand each other for that long. So yeah, everybody's.
What's, if you don't mind me asking? Yeah. Since being paralyzed and going through recovery, what's been the biggest challenge or the biggest hurdle that you've had to overcome?
You know, I don't know, just mentally, you know, the physical was hard, but like the mental aspect of like just figuring out that life's going to be okay. Like, I don't know. That's a hard question, because everything felt impossible at the time, you know, like everything I did, you know, figuring out how to get dressed on my own felt impossible until I did it the first time. And then it felt impossible to move out of my parents until I moved out. And then it felt impossible to, just down the line, every single thing. So it's like everything felt impossible until it wasn't. Like, so that's just a really tough question. Like, I couldn't say one thing that was like hard, because everything felt like the hardest thing in the world. Like, there was nothing harder at that time than whatever task I was trying to do.
I understand. Yeah, I mean, I can understand that.
But it was, but a lot of it was just the mentality, like the mental maze that I was going through, of like when I, like, the before all the impossible things happened was the right before that, when it was like, and especially the biggest one was probably like when I was just like the thought that I was not going to be able to live on my own. Like, I thought I was just
gonna have to carry your whole life,
have a caretaker or my parents, and like, I'm never gonna meet a girl, because why would anybody want to deal with that? Like, just those kind of things. And you're 18, and you're like, just thinking all that, and it was brutal. Like, it's just hard to overcome mentally.
Yep. You mentioned earlier, faith.
Yeah.
You religious, man?
I would say I have been. I've become, because I undoubtedly have to believe that I'm not where I'm at today without the influences of God. Like,
absolutely.
My story doesn't. I mean, Caleb Redden, doctor.
Yeah.
Like,
I just saw him.
Yeah,
actually.
like, so he's kind of the one that got me really fired up into the Mecca. We can talk about that too if you want. But
absolutely, yeah, I'd love
to. Like even it's like, when I tell doctors about like my story, they're like, everybody's like, what? Like they see me working out in the gym or whatever. They're like, oh, what happened to you? And I'm like, C4 spinal cord injury. And they're like, excuse me, what? Like, there's no way. And I'm like, absolutely. Like, they just don't believe it. And like I said earlier, and it's kind of been recent. At the time I wasn't privy to it, but in the future now, looking back, it's very obvious. Like I said, like, I wasn't getting out of bed every day on my own accord. Like, there was an external force pushing me to keep going. Like, keep going to school, keep doing it, put one foot in front of the other. Like, that wasn't me doing that. That was, in my opinion, that was my parents, and that was God pushing me to the point of me figuring it out.
Yep.
Like, hey, I'm going to get you to here. And then I got to there, and it was like, thank you so much.
Yeah.
We're going to keep on the right path now. Like, we're going to figure it out.
I love it.
Like, for sure. Wasn't me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. So Caleb.
Yeah.
I talked about him on an episode previous with Zach, and I was like, fuck that guy. Fuck Caleb. In a good positive, because he's just like the most perfect specimen. I feel we got to put a clip of him, like, because he's like in the gym, he's all posed, he's like Fitness Men's Fitness Magazine. But that's how I feel every doctor should look.
Yeah.
He's a Greek god, and the dude's a stud.
Well, but it's easier to believe him. Like, it's easier to believe a guy preaching to you about health when he's healthy.
Yeah, I just had all my blood work done, and I sat down with him, and he's like, I'm actually very surprised. He's like, knowing your lifestyle. He's like, you're well ahead of the game. And I was like, oh shit, okay. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, I don't know how to take that. Were you expecting it to be worse? He's like, I wasn't sure what I was preparing for with you, but he's like, I wasn't expecting your numbers to be as good as they were. But yeah, he's a really good dude. So how did he got you into the Mecca?
Yeah, like I was working out with my roommate Jake at Axiom.
Okay.
And I don't know, Caleb had like just talked to me once or twice in passing, mentioned he was a doctor or whatever. Yeah. And I was still new to the gym world of like just figuring shit out, because like still anything like overhead is, my muscles are weird, dude, because like everything's fighting against itself in my body.
Okay.
My nerves are still confused. Like, I've got a lot of function, but like the best way I can explain it is like in most lifts, especially overhead, like it's so like when I'm doing a bicep curl, my triceps firing. Like, my body's just like fight or flight, and it's fighting. So it's just, it's firing everything. It's like, oh, we're struggling here. Let's just fire everything we got. Okay. So it's like I'm fighting my tricep when I'm doing bicep.
Got it.
Like overhead, I'm pushing overhead. Everything's trying to pull down. Like, it's just weird. So I was asking, it was just one day I just asked him about something, like it was something for my shoulder. I was like, am I going to fuck my shoulder up doing this? Yeah. And he was like, help me out. And then like next week just messaged me and he was like, dude, I think I got a place for you. I was like, oh yeah? He's like, yeah. I talked to this guy, owns this gym, talked to Eric. It's like, we're gonna hook you up, dude. Like, we want to see what you can do. I was like, okay. And I mean, it's been crazy, dude. Like my gym progression has been nuts. Like when I was working out at Axiom, I always go back to like, I started, I was just doing machine stuff, what I could do. And then once I got those guys involved, it was like just having somebody like back to, I was pushing myself in the gym. I quit going to therapy because I wanted to push myself harder. And then I got to the limit that I could only push myself so hard at the gym without like just fucking myself up.
Yeah.
So then having somebody that was like there to help me push myself like I wanted to push myself was crazy. Because like, I mean, I remember when I was working out at Axiom, I wanted to start bench pressing again, got under a barbell, just like almost got crushed. And so I had to go home for like, dude, I literally started bench pressing in my house on a mat with a wooden closet rod, weighed nothing.
You just went for it initially?
Well, I had a buddy there. Like,
I'm saying, yeah.
I mean, I was under it. I was like, let's feel what this feels like. He's like letting off the weight, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no. I
Because that's how I would have been. I'm like, yeah, fuck, I can do this again.
Yeah. Well, that's how I thought. And then I think I probably had it up, and I was like, oh, this isn't that bad. And he's like, dude, I'm holding all of this. I was like, oh, okay.
This is actually pretty light.
Yeah. But
that's
yeah.
Cool, though, man.
Both those guys, Eric and Caleb, like, love them to death. Like, they helped me progress so much more than I would have on my own. Like, for sure.
Isn't it? It's crazy to think just a nice gesture of something so simple as Caleb, like, yo, I got a gym that would come crush you here with some of the biggest human beings on the planet. Like, it's something so simple. And I preach it to our kids and people all the time. It's like, they don't have to ever do anything for anybody, but if you have the ability to just, and everybody thinks it's monetary, you have to give money, and we get it all the time with our organization. Like, oh man, I would love to help, but I don't have money. I'm like, you don't have to have money to help.
Yeah.
Tell somebody about it. Send them a link and put out an invite. It's something so simple. And that makes me like, I think Caleb's a stud. I love Eric. I've known both those guys for a long time. And it just solidifies like, dude, what a good dude he is, because it's just something so simple. And I hope people listening realize, like, you don't have to help people with money. It could be a hand. It could be an invite, an open door for an opportunity. Is really, that would go so much farther than somebody like, oh, I can't make a donation. But it's like, dude, you know what? You have a place that you could host. Cool. That's just as important. Or, hey, I have an opportunity to come. Hey, we got these trainers here that want to show you some things.
Yeah.
It's something so simple along those lines. It can change the projection of somebody's path or life by the simplest gesture.
Yeah.
I love hearing that type of stuff. It just shows that those dudes are pretty good dudes. And yeah, that's why I would go there. I mean,
but I do get you. I like talking shit about Caleb too.
Yeah, fuck that guy. He's so perfect.
It's been fun watching him, because I started talking to him like right when he was kind of like before the Titan games, and all. Now he's a bigwig, dude. Now I just love just giving, I'm like, dude, I can't ever hang out with you anymore. You just got too many photo shoots, dude. You gotta be, just got an appointment for a cover of a magazine or something, dude. You're slumming it around here with me.
Perfect specimen for it, though. I mean, it's just, that's how a doctor should be.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
That is how if I walked into a doctor's office, and it blows my mind. Like, you go to the doctor and you got some 300-pound doctor telling you about your health.
Like, hey, I think you should exercise a little. And then you're like, well, okay, what, like, practice what you preach at all?
Not trying to call a kettle black, but like, I'm in way better shape than you, and you're the doctor.
Yeah.
That shows you what state we are as a country, that our doctors giving health advice are unhealthier than their patients.
Yeah.
That to me blows my mind. And the fact that most people don't walk in there being like, you're disgustingly obese and you're giving me health advice. Like, I'm sorry. No, I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I'm not listening to any of this.
I'm not buying whatever you're selling. Yeah.
No. Dude, what a roller coaster of a life, huh? Or a ride that you've been on.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's it was weird, you know. It's like I feel like I had to grow up quick, you know.
For sure.
16. It's fun. It's been funny. It's been a funny evolution of Boone. Like, you know, grew up fast because I had to.
Yep.
Like, fought through all the shit,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's just been like a blast. Like, I've just been having so much fun. Like,
I love that.
just got back to get, you know, just kind of took myself out of that bubble, started hanging out with friends again. Like,
You think that helped a lot?
and, oh yeah, you know, and like, it was just my fault, you know, like weird to say, but like my friend, like nothing changed. Like, once again, nothing changed from the time that I was in those bad mindsets to the good. So like, once I started hanging out with my friends and we were going to the bars and going fishing and doing all the shit,
Talking
it's
shit,
fun.
having fun.
It's like I could have been doing that 2 years ago. I just wasn't because of me. Like, once again, I wasn't taking the first step. I wasn't lighting the fire.
Yeah.
And I could have been. It was just, once again, like, you got to start. And once I did, like, once I reached out, it was like, hey, what are you guys doing this weekend? They're like, we're doing this. And then it was, you know, my friends are awesome because they've never, like, nothing's ever been we can't figure out how to get you to do that, dude. Like,
They're like, fuck it, we'll figure it out.
like going to, like, used to go downtown, like go to Roddy's and shit, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd never been a downtown guy, you know. I was like,
No.
and so I was like, you know, we get there and like, I don't know anything about downtown. Like, I was a college student, never been to the bars because I was just miserable. But
Mhm.
so they're like, we got to go to this bar, Roddy's, dude. And I was like, okay. We go down, and I'm like looking down, you know. I'm like, what the fuck do you guys mean we're going to this bar? They're like, don't worry, dude. They all just scoop me up in my chair. I mean, I had to quit going downtown because it was like, I mean, they just scoop me up, dude, and they're like walking down. And the second I'd get in there, dude, everybody's just looking, and just college dudes just love seeing a dude in a wheelchair partying, man. Because I'd have 6 beers by the time they set me down. I'm like, I can't do this every weekend, dude.
No.
Like, it was, but yeah, just like having fun again, man. Like, ever since then, just, I don't know. We're just full board ahead now. Like,
Good.
back to living.
So here's a question for you. I know we talked about, you know, you could listen to motivating people, but it's up to you to start your own fire and get it going. If you had a message for anybody listening that's in some dark times, in a rough place, suffering from some injuries, whatever it may be, hearing your story and seeing how motivated you are, how full of life and energy and happiness you are at this stage in your life, what would be some advice that you'd give to them?
You know, I would just not motivate. I would recommend people to just try and, you know, because at that time in my life, I didn't know what was going to get me out of it. I just got lucky and went to the gym, and that's what it was for me.
Yeah.
Like, my first step was just blind luck. Like, so I if you know what that is for you, like, if you know what's something you love that is like gonna, you know, change you, obviously start there. But like, if you don't know, you're down in your mindset, don't get stuck in doing the same thing. Like my routine was go to school, go home, you know, just veg out on TV and sit in my mindset of negativity. It's like, do something different.
Yeah.
Like, small, like whatever it is, like decide one night to go sit on your back porch and watch the sunset. Like, just do something small to change the pattern that is causing you to feel the way you are. You know, it's like, don't get stuck in the pattern. Start trying to change ways. Do little things like that. You know, anything. Go on a walk. Call a buddy. Whatever it is, just do something to get out of the pattern of negativity. And then hopefully, as you're doing those things, you find the thing that is like, that pulls you out of it.
Yeah.
Like, just keep doing stuff till you find the thing that pulls you out of it. Because it will. Like, whatever it is, like whatever you get latched onto. I mean, for me, it was the gym. It could be, you know, whatever, raising bees. It could be whatever in the world gets you going.
Do it.
Do it. Get out of that. Get out of the cycle of, because this is the hard part about it though, is, you know, because the negative cycle is easy.
For sure.
It's easy because you don't have to do anything, right? And that's how people get stuck in it. It's because you don't have to do anything to be in the negative cycle. So it's super easy.
Facts.
Super easy to stay there because you just sit there and you just let it come to you.
Rot.
Yeah. So you got to take that step to do something to get out of the cycle.
That step it's just a step.
Anything.
Just go.
Well, in anything, like I said, and people don't understand how, like I said, like it could literally be for you as simple as just like, I'm going to go for a 5-minute walk tonight.
Yeah.
And then you do that and you're like, oh, wow, I didn't think about any of my problems while I was on that walk. And then the next day you do it again. And then the next day you do it for double the amount of time. And then you start focusing on that thing. Mm-hmm. Like that was me. It was like, I started focusing on the gym. I was like, oh man, I loved that. Oh, now I'm going to go do a longer workout. Now I'm thinking all day about like, I got to go get a pump, man. Like, I'm not worried about anything now. I'm just like, get me to the gym, dude. Like, just takes your mind away. Just find your thing that takes your mind away from the shit. Like,
you know what's crazy when you say your mindset, how you were just like, you're not going to accept it. And you're okay. This is it. I'm going to get it going again. I have a buddy. He was a partial paraplegic. Like his spinal cord was severed, but not all the way through. He actually, everybody in his vehicle died. And he broke the majority of the bones in his body. They hit a massive IED. And from the explosion, like it sunk him down because the vehicle lifted so fast. So it broke all his arms, broke his jaw, shattered his whole skull, his legs. I mean, the guy was pretty much in a full body, but his mindset, and when we started working with him, I would go to his house and I'd have to sit down with his wife and she would lay out all the pills and I'd have to learn his pill routine because she was his caretaker and I'm taking this guy away. And I watched this dude go from breakfast would be 14 to 15 different pills, and there'd be multiple pills of each pill. So he's taking 30, 40 pills for breakfast. Carrying this dude up and down a mountain. We did our first hunt together, and he ended up shooting a blacktail. And full. I mean, he had, from chest down pretty much was paralyzed. He started going through his recovery and all this good stuff. And he came to, I believe, her birthday party when she was 4 maybe. And he texted me and he's like, hey, I got a surprise for you. I'm going to swing by. I was like, all right. And this motherfucker come walking in our house. Cane, I mean, you know how it is. He's almost completely able to run. I'm sure he probably can now. And I asked him, I go, dude, what, like, because the doctors, all the VA, everybody told him, you'll never walk again. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to walk your daughter down the aisle, all this other stuff. He told himself, fuck you. I'm going to walk my daughter down the aisle. And his wife would leave to go grocery shopping. He would go in the hallway, pin himself and lift himself up and start scooting his feet. He started every day. He would do his own physical therapy. He'd fall. His wife would catch him like laying in the hall because he couldn't get back in his chair. She'd chew his ass and get all in trouble. But his mindset was, I am 100% walking my daughter down the aisle when she gets married one day. And I'm not going to accept that for anything else. Yeah. And just because of how he was told by everybody, though, hey, sorry, like, you're partial paraplegic, severed spinal cord, not fully, but enough. And everything was against him. And just because of his mindset, he's now no cane. He can walk. I mean, we've gone on hunts where he's busting brush and it all because of your mind. And it's such a powerful tool, but it's so easy to get sucked into the depression, the victim mentality, the woe is me. Yeah. And it's been really cool talking to you because, I mean, dude, everybody speaks so highly of you. And I want you to know that you have a lot of support, man. It's cool that the people that, how they look at you and think of you that I've run into. And so it's been awesome to be able to have this conversation and see the shit you've gone through from going from all-American kid to wheelchair bound, and then now being on your own, got an incredible group of friends, and it's pretty cool. Yeah. It's been awesome to see. So I got a question for you.
Yep.
Or not a question, but more of I guess it's a question, but if you could leave a message to your parents because you talk so highly of them, what would you like your parents to know?
I don't know. Like, it's just one of those things that I feel like I'll never be able to repay them, you know? Like, and I know they don't want it. I know they don't need it, but it's like they mean so much to me, dude, that it's like, I don't know. I get so emotional talking about my parents because it's like they are my. I mean, people say it all the time, you know, like, oh, my parents are my rock. But like, I've watched my parents go through the trenches for me, dude. Like, I watched, and as I've got older, you know, it's got more real. Like, I mean, I don't have kids, but like, I get it. You know, my buddies are having kids. Like, I'm attached to these little shits. You know, like I get it, dude. I'm like, I'm seeing what and not what I put my parents through, but what they had to go through with me. You know, and it's like, just didn't blink an eye. Like, you know, and I'll never be able to show them enough gratitude for what they've done. Not that they want it, but like, yeah, just love them with all my heart. Like, would not be where I'm at, and yeah, just forever grateful.
Awesome. I really appreciate this conversation, man. It was
yeah, man. No,
it's all I just wanted to know. You know, I just want to know your story and your journey and the hurdles and everything you've overcome. It's pretty cool. And so to get to know you a little bit better than at the gym and passing real quick. So yeah, I appreciate you being able to.
It was funny how we met. You know, I was telling I can't remember. I was telling my roommate that because Jake, the kid I live with, he lifts quite a bit. He's been my gym buddy, and I told him that day. I was like, dude, you never would guess what happened to the gym, because I usually drive. I got another 93 Cummins that I usually drive. Yeah. It's got a crack in the frame. Don't get me started. But so it's out of commission, but it's got a crane in the back.
Yeah.
That my chair gets lifted up. So I usually right there, like, I just get into my truck and I'm gone. But I just drive in my parents' car because I don't have that, and I have to walk to or stand up, put my chair in, hobble to the front, get in, and I met you because I did leg day that day, and I went a little aggressive, not remembering that I had to walk into the car afterwards. And I got there and I got to the back and I tried to stand up and my leg said, "Not today, sir." And I was like, oh shit. So I just waited in the parking lot for somebody to come by.
That was me.
Like, hey, can you throw this back here for me, man? And you're like, yeah.
Yeah, that's how we met, helping you. Yeah, you're like, hey,
yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm glad, man. I'm glad you asked, because it led to this. And so that's where I was like, yo, you want to come on a podcast? Tell your story?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was cool. I guess it was fate that, you know, you'd crush leg day that day, and I'd be walking out of the gym and help you load your chair up, and led to this and being able to get your story and get to know you a little bit better. So,
man, it was great. No, appreciate it.
Dude, thank you. I appreciate the time. I appreciate the conversation and the laughs and just being real and raw about everything and what it was like and the recovery and to where you're at now. I hope nothing but the best for your future, dude. You're a young guy. You got the world on your shoulders now, and I'm glad you got a good core group of friends and family and your parents and faith on your side, and you got nothing but open roads ahead of you, man.
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate you.
Yeah, dude, that was good.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome, man. Oh, God. Yeah, dude. Thank you
Good.
so much for that.
Man. No, absolutely. It was a blast. Yeah. This is, like I said before, is like I know people relate to this stuff. Like I said, I have a hard time with